Let's now review the real-time wallboards within Xima CCaaS. With the real-time wallboards, you can create as many of these as you want. You can select from some predefined template wallboards. You can then edit and customize the template wallboards or create your own wallboards from scratch. You can then customize the values within each of the different widgets, and you can set real-time alerts and triggers, which include changing colors on the screen, playing an audible alarm, as well as getting an email notification and sending a screen pop message to the agents. So let's review that. With the real-time wallboards, you're going to configure these within the administrative HTML interface. So go ahead and log in with the appropriate login account. And then within your administration pane on the left-hand side, select your real-time wallboards. Now, when you first log into Xima CCaaS, you may see no wallboards configured. Go ahead and hit New Wallboard. Here you'll see the template wallboards available within inside of Xima CCaaS. Simply select the real-time template you wish to use. I'll go ahead and start with this daily SLA voice template. Within the templates, they'll ask you which skills and agents you want to monitor within this wallboard. For this one, I'll go ahead and select the technical skill. You can select multiple skills. Just know that might adjust some of the values you may need to tweak later. But I'll go ahead and select the technical skill and the different agents I wish to see. Again, if your agents are not showing in this list, they may not be licensed within the desktop administration. So go back, assign them the appropriate voice or web chat license, and then return to the wallboards and they will appear. And then go ahead and hit continue. And within a matter of seconds, your wallboards are live and running. And if I were to go ahead and place a call into that technical queue, you'll see it there in the top left-hand corner. And there it is. Now, this template wallboard can easily be adjusted if any of these values are not what you want to monitor. Just simply select the wallboard widget and then adjust the values accordingly. You can click on different widget, and all the widgets configure the same way. But before we do that, let's go ahead and dive into a few of the other templates available. Go ahead and hit save and exit. Go ahead and hit new wallboard template. This time, let's go ahead and select one that may show us both voice and web chats. There's a few different templates that show these values. Go ahead and select the wallboard template you wish to use, and again, select the agent and skills you wish to monitor. And this time, I will go ahead and select both. And again, in a matter of seconds, your wallboard is configured. And if I were to place a call this time into the sales queue, you'll see that, as well as if a call went in the technical queue, because I configured both skills, and so both apply to the different and appropriate values. And there you can see that call in queue. But again, all of these widgets, all of the values can be customized. They can be removed. To customize or edit a widget, you just simply select the widget, select the menu option, and you can duplicate, delete, go to the data, which is over here on the right-hand side. Here's where you can adjust the value as well as the look and feel of the widget. You'll also notice across the top where I have my call in queue, it changed colors after a call went in a queue, and there it just changed colors again after it hit a certain threshold. That is set under the data and within the threshold alert. Here is where you can adjust when that threshold plays. You can add as many thresholds as you want. You can change the background color or the text color. If I wanted to upload an audio file to play, I would just simply select that new audio file to play with the appropriate threshold. Let's go ahead and now review how to build a wallboard from scratch. Because if you know how to build a wallboard from scratch, editing the templates is very simple. And the nice thing is once you know how to configure one widget, you know how to configure all of them because they all configure the same way. They just display slightly different options based off the widget that you select over here on the right-hand side. So let's go ahead and hit save and exit. This time I'm going to go ahead and hit new wallboard and select custom. Here you can give it a title. We'll just call this training. You can upload a background color or a background image if you want to brand the wallboard appropriately. I'll go ahead and just select this tower image that I have. You can adjust the margin and the aspect ratio. So what PC resolution do you want this to go to? And the margin, the spacing between the different widgets. I'll just leave it the default. Now on the right-hand side, I have my different widgets. I'm going to go ahead and start with a leaderboard. Now a leaderboard allows you to configure multiple values, and then you can adjust the size of that leaderboard, and it will walk you through the process. First thing it wants is a title, and we'll just call this leaderboard. And then we'll select the different values. You can select from an agent, account code, call direction, and skill. Let's go ahead and do agents. Which agents do I want to monitor? Again, I'll go ahead and just select all agents. And then do you want to display offline agents? Meaning, do you want them to show up if they're not logged into the contact center, or only show me live active agents? Since I only have 5 and this is a lab, I'm going to go ahead and select display offline agents. Now I can select from the different metrics or values I wish to see. There are over 60 different values you can select from. Okay, and you can search for the values to narrow down that list. But I'm going to go ahead and start with agent state. You can do their busy state, call state, chat state. I'm just going to do their overall state. And it's going to tell me their state right now, and everyone is currently logged out. If I wanted to select that same value again, oftentimes values have a drop-down menu showing you different options. In this case, a duration. I could also add values such as, how many inbound calls they've answered or had today. But this is where you can add additional criteria. If you leave it default, it's going to just show you the default value. In this case, all inbound calls that were contact center calls to the agents. But maybe I want to filter that down by a particular skill or by a phone number. Here we can apply these different filters. Let's go ahead and apply it to a skill. And maybe I only want to see the technical inbound calls. Hit apply. And now I want to do the same thing, but I want to see how many they answered. Again, we can do answered calls percentages. Again, a lot of different values here. Let's go ahead and do an answered call count. But again, if I don't select the criteria, my answered count might be higher than my inbound count because that inbound call count has a filter of the technical skill. Well, right now, this one doesn't have any filters. So I'd want to make sure my filters are the same. So that way my numbers make sense. So we'll do the technical. So out of how many inbound calls total, how many have they answered? And then we'll do missed. And again, important to apply that criteria. Now, currently, I don't have any calls that are coming into these skills or these agents because I just set up this instance. But as they start to take calls, those values will continue to change. And then you can go ahead and apply. If you want to now start customizing the look and feel, you can click on the design element and you can upload a background color. Maybe you want to change the header color. You want to change the font color of the text. You want the font size to be a little bit larger, or a little bit smaller. Do you want to show agent icons, agent rank, agent image? You can do that. You can change the background color within the container itself. So maybe I don't want that to be white. I want it to be transparent. Do I want to put a border around this? Okay. And what border style do I want? We'll go ahead and do it. That one. Okay. And once you have the design and the look and feel that you're looking for, you can also adjust the sizing and spacing of this widget. So I only have 5 agents, so I don't need it to take up my entire wallboard, leaving me space down below for additional widgets and values. Now I mentioned once you know how to configure one widget, you know how to configure all of them. We just did a leaderboard, so let's go ahead and do a title value widget. This time, rather than focusing on multiple values, the title value widget is defined to just one value, but it has all the same options: agent, skills, call direction. So you even have more options here than the leaderboard because we immediately filtered that down by agents. So let's go ahead and just do, an abandoned call count. Okay, oh, that's my title, so we'll call this abandoned calls. And then we'll select the abandoned call count. Now again, if I don't put a criteria there, you can see it immediately rendered the value 11. But maybe I want to drill that down to, again, a particular skill or calls from a particular phone number. Let's filter that down to just my technical skill and hit apply. And now it adjusted to 7. So I had 4 other abandoned calls to some of my other skill groups or my IVR. Same idea. I want to design this. I can, and it saves the colors that I've used previously, making it very easy for me to match the design that I've set previously. And hit apply. Let's go ahead and do just a couple more values. Maybe I want an active calls widget right there in the middle, showing me, the current calls. And you get to determine calls for a particular agent, calls for a particular skill, how many calls do you want to show, calls with a specific event type. Okay, we'll just call this active calls. And we'll just show all calls. And then the other option you have within the contact center is to duplicate widgets, making design and building wallboards even easier. So I could copy this wallboard widget. Okay, there's my copy on the right-hand side. And now I can adjust the layout of that wall widget and adjust the value. So maybe on this value, I want to put, my answered calls, or again, whatever it is you're looking to measure. Maybe I want to see my speed of answer, and I want that to be an average speed of answer. And again, applying a different filter criteria. Since my other one was filtered by technical calls, as is my leaderboard, I'm just going to make this entire wallboard filter based off of the technical wallboard. And in a matter of seconds, I have my wallboard. Again, you can make those values and those widgets even smaller to display even more real-time values if you want to. When you're done building your wallboard, go ahead and hit save and exit. And there you have that wallboard. If you want to throw that into a full screen mode and have it rotate between other wallboards, there's a few ways to do that. You can open up your different wallboard and then select the full screen wallboard option. Or the other option that you can do is create a loop. Go ahead and hit create a new loop. We'll call this training loop and add a new wallboard to the loop. Select the different wallboards you want it to rotate with one another and how often you want to rotate. You can do just one wallboard, but I'll go ahead and select another wallboard to rotate with, and maybe this one I only display for 30 seconds. And that has created my loop wallboard. The benefit of a loop wallboard, and it's designed to give to agents if you want, or we'll talk about how agents can have those displays within the contact center agent client, but to throw up on a flat screen TV, but not requiring users to have to log in, but also preventing them to get access to the administration and the reports and other features that they may not have access to. So within the wallboard, you can generate an external link. Provide that link to the TV screen or monitor you wish to open that up with, and then just go ahead and paste that link within your URL. And that immediately opens up to your real-time wallboard. And then all you have to do is throw it into a full screen mode, and it will begin to rotate with the other wallboards. You'll notice on the left-hand side, I can't hit the back button. I can't get the reports. I can't edit this wallboard. It just allows me to view the wallboard and throw that into a full screen mode. And everything that was previously configured will function as designed. Again, for example, if I were to go ahead and place a call into the queue again. There you can see that. The last element we need to review is how to set up an alert and trigger, not just to change color and play audible alarms, but to review how to set up an alert and trigger to send the supervisor, administrator, an email alert or a pop screen message to the agents. That is done back in the desktop administration. Now, under the desktop administration, under admin and system, you have another alerts and triggers section. Here you can set up alerts and triggers to notify you via email or a pop screen message to the agents based off of a threshold. So maybe too many calls were in queue. What value do we want to select? So these alerts and triggers are not tied to a particular real-time wallboard. You do not have to have that real-time wallboard even configured. You do not have to have that real-time wallboard open or displayed. This will just monitor behind the scenes, alerting you, just in case you're not at a screen, to see that in real time. We'll go ahead and select queued calls. set that criteria to be right now, and then which skill do we want to monitor? We're going to do the technical skill. What is our trigger threshold? When do we want to be alerted? Let's say, for instance, if that ever had more than 5 calls in queue, send us an alert. Do we want to send a message to the agents on their contact center agent client or an email alert? Let's go ahead and do a desktop message. I want this to alert all agents, minus the Xima handsets. What message do I want? Again, you can customize this. You can customize how large this is, what this looks like, and I'll just go ahead and say, warning, 5 calls in queue. And again, if I want to adjust the size, the text, I can do that. And I can have this be as long of a message as I want, but I'll go ahead and just hit OK, get right to the point. And then I also want to get an email alert. Well, what email address do I want to alert? We'll go ahead and do training@xima.cloud and, john@xima.cloud. So you can put in multiple email addresses, just separate with a comma. What's this email subject line? Warning, 5 calls in technical queue. What alert? What message do I want to show up in the email? This is an alert to check the supervisor view. And hit OK. Now, in order for that email to fire, you must have your SMTP or mail server settings configured. Okay, so let's review where that's set up. Go ahead and hit OK and hit save. Under admin system settings, then basic settings, here is where your SMTP settings live. You need to put in a valid email address. I would recommend the customer create an email address for Xima CCaaS. So it could be something like Xima@customerdomain.com or reports@customerdomain.com. Let's actually update that to go ahead and say reports. If their mail server requires encryption, like SSL or TLS, they can enter that here. Put in the host. You can do the name or the DNS record or IP address. So I'll go ahead and do mail.customer.com. What port does their mail server use? And if their mail server requires authentication, which most do, enter a username and password. That's why I like them to create me an email address to use. And then we'll just put in that password. And from there, your scheduled reports will work as well as your alerts and triggers.